got the correct chat popped out for YouTube. I remember at one point I made a mistake with that. Let's see, where are we saving to? Save as Unicorns, Portraits, Royal Guard. There we go. Hello guys. So we're gonna do more drawing today. Normally I would like to stream in the morning and everything. Yesterday I was like, yeah, my allergies are feeling a little bit better. And then of course I had allergy trouble and had a difficult time sleeping last night. So so much for that. It's such a pain. So try to do a box, 8 blocks. 8 blocks, which will become a circle. Fish, says Twitch chat. How far did I get? Well, we got 3 ponies. Out here. Let's go into our actual thing. We got 3 ponies done, and then let me see, I did a Twilight, but she's kind of like she's like a Brontosaurus, and I realized that actually, let me see, I got about, the neck is about a head in length, and that's too long. I think I need to go like half a head. So, yeah, that's a mistake. But anyway, though, I can't go back and fix them because you got only so much time to do it all. It's morning somewhere. That's right. That's the saying. So anyway, though, now we need to do our guard ponies. So we have them. They're supposed to be like a slightly more masculine look. So we'll see. How do I want to do that? There's eyes. They've always got this like very stern look on them. Because they're the Royal Guard, see? Square mouth, yeah, they have kind of like more boxy faces, and it's been kind of, it's such a long time really since I've drawn ponies. This is my first time in a long while. Still want to make them like kind of cute ponies in their way, but there we go, sort of like that. I think that's roughly where we want to be. Just add more lines until we can't tell what's going on. As every good artist will tell you, if you're not sure what you're drawing, just make the sketch messier and messier until no one has any idea what you're drawing. And then you're a real artist. There's this guy called Prokopenko. I think it's Sam Prokopenko? Anyway, he does that. He does like how to draw stuff like that. And he's really good for learning to draw. And I'm pretty sure that was one of the things, one of the pieces of advice he specifically gives is like, don't do that. Stop doing that. Don't just create a mess of sketch lines until you can't see. Okay, so the head's about that big. We want to go like half of that, so we'll, oops, down here. Kind of like the V shape on the neck. These guys are supposed to be a little bit more masculine. I want to do this. Like they've got the clavicle and everything. I don't want to get into like a weird humanoid shape though. I just kind of want to establish like here's, alright, and the actual neck is going to be, there we go, nice and thick. You have to look in between the lines. Yes, I can say your name again. Hello, Mike. Is this a thing you go to the streams and then ask them like, hey, can you say my name? They have these like brush style helmets, which gives them a nice intimidating kind of look. The armor is definitely going to add to the cost of production. Is he just going to be standing there? I mean, I feel like the sternness is kind of the point. They still got stubby little pony bodies. And then let's see, their butt's going to be like back there. Do like a square look so I can tell a little easier where they are. The question is, do I want to just do like a profile? Because he's not like doing anything interesting with his body in this, so it's probably may not be worth it really to care about the rest of the body if I'm not going to do anything cool with it. They've got their tails. So their armor is kind of funny. They got their barding, and it's like pointed, which seems super uncomfortable and dangerous for them. But you know, the princess has opinions on how you should look, and you don't get to say, you don't get to be like, I don't really want to wear the pointy suit. You just kind of wear it, and then it is what it is. Let me see. And there we go. This is a very stiff, a fairly stiff look, but yeah, we'll just do a kind of a portrait, and then that'll be how we do this one, and that'll save the time. Yeah, all they do is stand around and look intimidating in the show. You know, we never see them actually murder anybody. I know that I want to do a pony, like ponies carrying, but like the unicorn chariot. Oh, they need the unicorn horn. Let me get that on there before I forget. Let me see, how do I do that? Like so. Celestia likes them to have big horns. It's one of her hiring criteria. Let them have a big horn. They don't fight very often, so we can go for looks. There we go. Okay. Should definitely try to make some more dynamic pony poses. This was what I was going for with Twilight a little bit, but yeah, hello Cheeseman. Are you following any of the more current stuff that I do? Like, it's very large now. pony stuff, always popular. People do enjoy it. What are you keeping up? Have you seen the Not D&D podcast? Just a square, I guess. Probably going wider than smaller. And then give them a nice... Should that come out a little bit more? Go. Guard pony, not happy to see you. He knows what you've done. He knows about it. Go, and then the irises, what do we call those? The outsidees. I believe that's the scientific name for it, the outsidees. Oh, that's a little too big. A little too big. Let's narrow that down a little bit. Dungeon Men's favorite one so far. That's a recency bias. I mean, that's one that's certainly had plenty of time to get itself going and kind of tell a story and everything. So a lot of people were saying that Dungeon Men came out really well, which I'm glad. Like, I got a lot of positive feedback on that one, so I'm happy about that. So he's got like a whole, like a cowl actually, so maybe I'll try to establish depth of that there. Just fudge the lines a little bit on that one. we go down that well. There is a Discord, actually. If you'd like to join it, I will post a link. Today, what? It's hidden because I'm streaming. Copy. Hidden use copy button. I did use the copy button Discord. How do I unhidden this then? Well, that's new. Okay, hold on. There we go. I have to leave streamer mode. Which I wonder if that's going to give me any issues. Remember back in the day, it used to be like you do this stuff over Skype. And the big problem with that was Skype just gave people your IP address. So we once had a guy join a Skype call and just like put me into... There was a thing that would like... It was meant for stress testing websites. So I just like put my IP into it. And it stress tested my internet really hard. Okay. Here. I'll actually add more darkness. More darkness, more depth. So some of the guys on the server, it looks like, are excited to do some test runs on this, so that'll be fun. At least it won't just get played at the convention. We'll have some fun with it. On the server as well. So if any of you guys are interested in trying this out, you can let me know if you join the server. And once we have the cards and everything like that, we can run some games with it, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, and we gotta wear pony legs just to make sure we have them. I'm gonna go too crazy with it because we're kind of just gonna. We're really just gonna crop them from, I think, like this point out. Okay, and they've got their that might be enough. That might be fine. And then we'll have to just crop from like here. Yeah. So we'll just take our that's our guard pony. What's it like going to a convention? It's fun. It's a good time. Like one of the nice things about like when you go and you're like a celebrity famous to that community, one of the nice things about it is that people are there partly to see you, so that takes a lot of stress off. Like I think one of the things is if you're not familiar to a place, then you might feel inclined to be a little nervous and say like, oh gosh, I don't know. I sure hope everyone has a fun time and everything. But for me, the pony convention, it's kind of a foregone conclusion that people are generally like I know that they like Rainbow Dash Presents, and some people are just like, oh, this is cool, hello, and they're excited, and you're excited. There's some social exhaustion to it because you got to kind of put on a little bit of a performance, your performance hat, your performer hat, because that's something. It's hard to keep up like performance energy all the time. Not like how do I put it? Like, I don't know. Like, you imagine like if you ever work at a service job, then like you can be friendly with people. Like if you enjoy service work, then it's not like you don't. How do I put it? I mean, like, just socializing. Okay, so I'm kind of an introvert, so socializing constantly is stressful for me over the long run. However, I do like interacting with everybody. So although it stresses me out over the long run, it's not like, oh man, I hate doing it. It's just sort of like, man, like this takes a lot of energy. Like, oh gosh, I'm glad I don't have to do this all day every day, but I do enjoy it. I like to meet people who are following what I do and who are like, oh man, I really want to see more of this, like when you're coming out with new things and stuff like that. That's all exciting to hear from people who are like really invested in my work, that they are invested in it and they're following it and everything. On the internet, you get comments and things, but it's so much harder to gauge for certain how well you're doing, because the internet's really weird. It gives you this like, yeah, people are having a nice time in the comments or whatever, but these are like the people that feel like commenting, and also bots are a big thing now, so you never know for sure what's real and what's not. Like, I did that little thing on like how to play A Song of Ice and Fire, and I got comments for them, and a bunch of them were bots. They were like, wow, fantastic time. And I looked at it. I think what it was is that I did how to play A Song of Ice and Fire, and then the bots were just like, ah, yes, a how-to video. This is exactly the type of thing that we would do for engagement. So then I got a bunch of like, yes, good video, top video, da-da-da. And that was really disheartening. And then also that video, it got like no reach whatsoever, because I guess that YouTube is also like, these are bot videos, we don't really promote these. Anyway, point is, real humans saying they like your stuff is it hits differently than just internet comments. So it's cool in that respect. But aside from that, it's like there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of stuff going on, things to do. You go out and get dinner. It's kind of like a work party, I guess. Like, you do a lot of work, but there's also a lot of elements of fun. Something like that. It's actually going to be a little further aside. Where is that swirl at? It's like over there, kind of. And then they've got like swirls and everything. I was saying this yesterday, but it's like super nice that you go to make something and you're like, this got to be fast and cheap and everything, and you go and you look at the show and there's like lots of things made for TV, fast, cheap. Let me get this done real quick. G6. I mean, is it making a comeback though? Is it really? The last few seasons of MLP were pretty painful to sit through. I did make an effort. Pencils was working with, or I don't know if you guys still know Pencils, but there was a artist named Pencils in the MLP fandom who was making a series called Anon's Pie Adventure, and it was like an isekai adventure into the My Little Pony setting. He was doing that for a little while, and then he became an artist for IDW, and he was doing their pony comics and everything like that. So he invited me to pitch some scripts to IDW, and I did, and that process was pretty good as far as I would rate it. They didn't wind up taking anything, but they did work with me, and they were like, this concept has some legs, and they sent me revision requests and everything. And they did that for a while until eventually they were just like, oh, okay, actually it looks like we're not doing anything new pony-wise for a little bit. And I kind of just let it go after that because I didn't really want to, like, I don't know, it was a you say it wasn't a bad experience, but it was a lot of like back and forth work, and it's kind of like, well, if I wanna do a bunch of like writing and revision and stuff like that, like I can't self-publish, and yeah, it's not as like lucrative maybe. Oh, what did I pitch to IDW? So I did have to send them. I sent them 3 different ideas. I don't remember what the other 2 were, but the one that they were like, this has legs, was I had this idea for, like, you know how Trixie got a hold of the Alicorn amulet at one point? Well, my idea was that it turns out that she got that because of she took out a loan from, like, a supernatural creature with, like, ulterior motives, and the ulterior motives is that he has his own shop of magical wonders. So he wanted that amulet for himself, kind of. He took a loan, and he was like, yes, I'll give you all this money for this Alicorn amulet. Because they never explained where Trixie got that money. But she goes to try to get the Alicorn amulet, and then she was supposed to either pay him back with interest, or she would have to forfeit the amulet to him. And so he had like these troll lawyers that were there with him, and they were named Mr. Blackletter and Mr. Flurb. And so Mr. Blackletter like calmly explained everything. It was like, these were the legal, this was the legal stuff that you signed, that you agreed to, and here's what you need to do. These are your obligations. And then they were like, and if you fail to meet your obligations, then we can always send it over to Mr. Flurb for collections. And Mr. Flurb was like, they were 2 like giant ogres. And so Mr. Blackletter was like a big blue ogre in like a suit, a business suit. And then Mr. Flurb was just like a regular ogre in like a loincloth with a club. And he's just like, they're like, we can go over to Mr. Flurb. And then, it's in collections, and he's like over there picking his nose. And they're like, how does Mr. Flurb collect? And they're like, oh, he doesn't, but he will dip your head in molasses. And so, like, he gives the thumbs up, and so that's it. They're like, Trixie's like, you need to repay us somehow. And so she's like, I'm not repaying them, I'm gonna get out of town. But as she's trying to escape town, she runs into like an adventurer or whatever who's planning to go in the Everfree to look for like ancient artifacts and stuff. And then they're like, well, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm going to the Everfree. I'm gonna go look for ancient artifacts. And, oh, very valuable. And it kind of like it's kind of hinted that what they're doing is they're going to sell the artifacts to this supernatural creature that Trixie was talking to earlier. But it's not really admitted to during the like, Trixie just gets excited and she's like, oh, that's exactly what I need. And so they kind of go off on a big adventure into the Everfree, and they find like an old ancient temple, and they get kidnapped by these like there's a bunch of ancient pony rulers who like put their minds in an old statue, and then they just hang around, and all they really do now is argue with one another because they're like immortal, and all their civilization collapsed, and now there's nothing left. But that's what they do out there. And so like the big item that they want is like this giant pearl that actually contains all of their consciousnesses. And of course they're not going to give that up, so Trixie and this adventurer have to then like gather the they have to steal the thing. I think in the original draft they were accompanied by a diamond dog, and the diamond dog might have just like yanked it out of the pedestal that it was like attached to and run off with it while Trixie makes a big distraction. You say it's hilarious. Yeah, they thought it had legs too. So that's what I was saying. They gave it attention, and they took it seriously, and they were like, oh, here's maybe where we're gonna go. But then kind of like as we got towards the end of the process, it got to be like, oh, we're not sure if we're gonna have more pony comics. I think Hasbro wasn't sure if they wanted to go forward at the time, so they were like, I don't know, get back to us maybe later, and we'll know if we're gonna. But then I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. That was an okay experience. Like I wouldn't like tell people not to try it. Like if you have any cool ideas and you want to pitch to IDW, I would say they were professional, and it was a good. They're like a good company as far as sending your ideas and getting good feedback and everything like that. Would be fine to do it again, but. I mean, also, I did all that stuff, but then nothing got published, and, with the self-publishing, I can kind of just, self-publish. So there's pros and cons to that, but I've been doing the self-publishing stuff for a long time, so, that's kind of just what I kept doing. So, yeah, It was a fun script idea. It was a fun little deal. And actually, if you went to Babs last year, I did one of the things that I did was like I wrote a fanfic based on that story that I was pitching to IDW. And I let the people in the room help me finish it, because I started to write the fanfic, but then I ran out of time, and I was like, well, that's all right, we'll do it. I kind of did it like a role-playing game, and I was like, okay, so give me your ideas, like, what do you guys think we ought to do? And they would suggest things, then I would say like, okay, well, we gotta make sure that like, oh, Trixie does something wrong here, so we want her to be punished. What would be a good way to punish her, for this? And then she's got to realize like, oh, these are my friends. The message has always got to come back to friendship somehow. So we got to do this, we got to do that. It was fun. We got some good ideas from the audience. They had some fun ideas for like ways to resolve the whole situation and get Trixie out of trouble. So I thought about doing that again this year and doing another fan fiction thing. But I was less sure of what I would want the fan fiction to be about. Because I did have some other ideas, but they weren't as good as the Trixie adventure. Are you in the folder? You're not in the folder. Go in the folder. What are you doing? Maybe the paper won't go in the folder. Paper probably doesn't go. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Do we still need animators? We're not doing much animation these days. Mainly just because it's super expensive, it's super time consuming, it requires a lot of coordination, and I mean like it's good, like it's really nice to work with teams and have like other people involved and everything, but my top priority for this year is really just to get a super regular output for the Not D&D podcast. So far, we're doing okay. I would have liked to do 5 episodes every month. We've gotten 4 episodes in January, 4 episodes in February, so that's been on time. 5 episodes would be preferable because then I can do one early one. I could always make sure that there's like a little extra bonus episode for Patreon and I suppose for everybody else. I don't know. So my goal was kind of 5, but I've been hitting 4, and 4 is good. So I keep my goal at 5, and if I keep just missing by 1, then it's still like on time, which is good. Yeah, but anyway, though, that's kind of my key goal. That's my main goal for this year. And then I'm going to have to see what happens because Apple has decided that it does not like the way that Patreon works. Apple wanted changes. So Apple said, hey, from now on, Patreon is going to pay us 30% of its revenue. Do we got a real guard? But it's not a card game. It's a tabletop war game. Yeah, 30% is crazy, but 30% is the standard for the tech industry these days. That's just what they do. So anyway, though, Patreon didn't used to have to pay it, but then Apple kind of looked at them and realized that, hey, if we gobble up all of your revenue, we could make a lot of money. So Apple just told them, they were like, all right, from now on, you're going to give us 30%, or otherwise we're going to boot you off of our app. And Patreon makes a lot of their income through the app. So if they like got off of Apple, they would lose more than if they gave up 30% of their income, because Apple's one of the monopolies that really run the whole thing. So they have no choice. It's the Standard Oil situation. It's like you either pay these exorbitant fees to be on the rails, or you don't use the rails and you don't stay in business. So they have no choice. They're stuck, and like. They just, apparently a huge amount of their traffic goes through the app. That is what they say. So anyway, right now I work on a per post thing. So like every time I post an episode, I would get payment from people. Yeah, the 30% is only going through the Apple app. But the issue is that right now I'm on per post. And I feel like that's worked pretty well because people are more comfortable with donating a greater amount to that. Because you say like, well, if I don't post, you don't pay. And so right now, if I do like four posts, that's about $1,200. So in a month I would earn about $1,200, which is not a ton, but that's like I can pay. I share my income with my wife, so I can help pay rent, and whatever. And so it's important. Like that is not a trivial amount of income. It is pretty good, but Apple doesn't like that model because Apple has a harder time collecting revenue from it. They have a harder time tracking revenue from that. So Apple has said your Patreon is no longer going to do that. And so Apple has just said Patreon's no longer going to do that model from now on. The only thing Patreon can do is the per month. So the per month, I don't know if it'll make the same level of income, because that is like, okay, so you just have to take it on faith that I'm going to keep making stuff. And it's like Patreon is notorious for creators dropping off the face of the earth and not producing anything in spite of taking the monthly income, which I think is like, it's reasonable that people feel apprehensive about just being like, yeah, $20 a month, when there's no guarantee that they'll get anything. With the per post model, you don't pay unless I make something. No, I'm not in the Animators Guild or anything like that. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Kansas. And Kansas is an interesting area because we actually produce a lot of artists and everything like that. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen Pymations. He was originally a Kansas native. I think it's because there's not a lot to do around Kansas unless you like hobbies or drinking. Which I tried drinking for a while. but eventually it just I it was very bad for me, so I kind of quit. I don't drink anymore. But yeah, Pymations, he was a Kansas native. He's moved out, I think, since. But you see it a lot. The Midwest, it's sort of like you don't have very many things, so you get into some sort of hobby. Hobby could be animation. Yeah, but the Animators Guild, that's all in the West. That's all the West Coast for the most part. I think they have work in New York too, but yeah, I'm in the middle of the country, Kansas City, KC. So yeah, so I'm really nervous. In November, they're gonna change that billing model, and I don't know what's gonna happen as far as like, is that gonna go from $1,200 a month to like $500 a month, because that would be like half my income just gone, like a poof. So yeah, but Apple doesn't care. Apple doesn't care. Why would they? They don't have to. It's not their concern. We don't have to make better products when we control everyone in the ecosystem. Marketable plushes. I don't really have anything. That's the big problem with the Not D&D podcast, is that's not super, like, there's not a lot of good products that you can make with it. And I'm not going to sell pony plushes and stuff like that. That's all kind of getting into copyright shenanigans, which I don't like to test. Let me see. We have Shining Armor is one of our characters. Let's have a look at him. He's basically the same thing. What are his abilities anyway? What did I give him? Oh, armor saves. Okay. That makes sense. Better armor. The Spear and Nidhogg. Well, I got this Spear and Nidhogg. She probably put it in her shed. Yeah, basically it's shield magic. Let's see. Maybe I can do something more dynamic. What would be like a good defensive kind of look for a pony? Maybe like a nice, is like a curve, like, oh, this is my butt over here, my chest. Like half a head on the neck. Should be shouting? We gotta be shouting. Looking up, shouting. He's got that male pony look, or he needs it. Streaking in the park and skinny dipping are his abilities. His main ability is that he is terrible. He doesn't know his wife from Chrysalis. I think that, who is that? Is that TG Weaver who does the thing, this Legenoids joke? Where it's like, oh, do you play Legenoids? I play whatever it was that they play. Let me see here. Neck too big again, I think. I want to go like half of that. Oh no, that's okay. Okay, that's all right. That's fine. Let's see here though. Where are the collarbones? We'll kind of like try to. Bonuses. And they do this kind of like bones. Let's say his feet are like here. Boop, boop, boop. So their foot back here, maybe? Where are we coming at though? Back here. Maybe further back. Where? Let's see. Let's see. Where's the horizon? Where are we standing? Where are we standing, pony? Like it's like back in this direction. We're gonna be like over here, maybe. Something like that. Stubby little body. Kind of stubby, little bit stubby. And other leg down like this. And then he's kind of out this way. He doesn't wear shoes, it looks like. That was Weaver. Yeah, I love that whole like it's not that he didn't know that it wasn't his wife. It's that he related to Chrysalis better. And so just kind of like let it go for a long time. Like that one's a crack up. Okay, let's see. It's making... Let's expand it a little bit and bring it down. I've had some issues or trying to crop this and then it doesn't quite want to. Its tail. I think his head's a little bit small. Arc towards the clavicle. Twilight's brother. I think it's funny how all the ponies are like they're really just some random pony until you get the colors and stuff on them. And her brother's got like kind of a mop look. He's a little like Twilight, but they all kind of have that mop mane look to some extent. Or not mop, I guess, but that horse head look. They look like horses. You can believe it. I like that his armor comes with a saddle. Why exactly? me see. There's like a circle there. I'll figure out all the swirls later. Or cinnamon swirls. Yeah. Saddle. Alright, and that's a mess. Can't even see what that is. So good job, me. Good sketch work. Best thing you could do in a sketch is not be able to tell what you just drew. So everybody recommends. We went over that earlier today, though. Star in Yellow was the name of the fanfic that Star in Yellow was based on. I don't know if it's still online. The Dr. Wolf appointment. No, Dr. Wolf... Dr. Wolf was not a real doctor, as you may recall. Whoops, wrong one there. He was Dr. Wolf, in fact. It was like Doug Rumpelstiltskin Wolf or something like that. I don't know exactly. I don't know what his real name was. But it wasn't Dr. Wolf. I think he might have called himself Dr. Wolf. Anyway, whoops. Let's see here. Got an unreasonably heroic... All of our ponies are killing each other, so... going to be stupid about it. But also take it weirdly seriously. Would you see the teeth there? I don't know if you would at this angle, actually. There we go. Nice sketchy line art that completely lacks in confidence. Perfect. It's what we all like to see. It's another thing they recommend is just chicken scratch it out every time. Whatever you're doing. People get the sense that you intended to do what you did. You're doing it wrong. Oh, right, okay. That's where we are with that. I forgot we're shouting, so our eyes are like... that look correct? I don't know. That looks okay. I think his ears are going to have to be a little bit more into the jawline. I've got them out too far. Luckily... these lines out a little bit. It's a little haphazard about the whole thing. Everyone should like ponies. Who's the best pony? So, man, by the end of that show, gonna be honest, I think Trixie was really the best pony. Last one to still be cool. Last one to ever question why they did so many things that they did. By that point in the show, by the end of the show, everyone was just like, of course we need to do the friendship schools. Of course we need to do all this. And Trixie was just like, why? Why am I here? I want to go home. And goodness, I enjoyed the heck out of that from her. She said the things that I was thinking. Why are you there, Trixie? And how do you get out of this, honestly, you poor horse? That was actually part of why, when I was pitching a thing to IDW, I wanted to use Trixie, because at that point I still liked her as a character, and I wanted to do, you know, if I was gonna like write scripts with her in it, I wanted it to be about a character I liked. It would be something that I enjoyed. We should all enjoy Trixie. She's great. Didn't always see eye to eye with Sophisto on that back when he was all about it, you know, but in hindsight, he turned out correct. Saddles are always such a crack up. Let's see, should I go about like that? Yeah. I do feel like I'm getting better at this as I go through it. It's been so long. Like I haven't drawn ponies in feels like years. I mean, maybe for like with one or two occasional joke things, but never for anything that I intended to really use. So he's got this strap under him to hold the saddle on. He's got this fetlock thing going on. Add some shadow to that. Actually, add a decent amount of shadow to that. Thank you. Yeah. I've gotten better at art fundamentals. There's still a lot of things that I could learn. I don't practice anywhere near enough to become like a really good artist. But Compared to when I first started, for sure. Gotten a lot better. Would still go to Pet-Her-Up for the really good stuff. Oh, speaking of, I don't know if you guys caught it. He got laid off from his job. Talking about financial woes, he got laid off. His company was trying to cut costs, so they cut their salary artists. So he's taking commissions right now. If you guys want to grab him for anything, we got him just recently. I'm doing just a podcast, like a kind of your standard conversational podcast about this and that. And we had him do the artwork for it, for the title. Oh, the Nepotism Adventure series. Yes, there was more stuff planned for the Nepotism Adventure series. So what they were gonna do was, what's her name? Glimmer was gonna take them into the Crystal Empire to use the Crystal Heart to bring the mayor back to life, and then she was gonna come back to life as like a horrific centipede abomination that was bent on consuming all life, and no one was going to understand where it came from or why. So they were just gonna be like, oh no, what do we do? And they were going to solve it. All the taxes were going to blow up in Twilight's face, and she was going to be like, I don't really understand what it means to be a princess. And she was going to grapple with that. I had plans for it. Like, it wasn't going to be... I mean, like, it was kind of cynical in that it was like, oh, the ponies are kind of dumb now and everything. But it wasn't going to be heartless or anything like that. It was going to be like the characters were still going to have their own little... Like, oh no, it's my life. My life become this... The shadow on this back leg needs to be even darker since we're kind of in the rear. There we go. Set up a background and everything. Boop. There's some grass. Some grass. I don't know if we'll do happy trees or anything. And there we go. That horn is a little too far to the right. But anyway, that said, we'll just move on, pretend I didn't notice that. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, and he's got this purple armor. He's very regal. Well, it makes it purple and gold, honestly. It's actually a little bit more elaborate than I'm going to go with him, but we're on a time crunch. Oh yeah, was that Fosticorn? Yes, Mother was Fosticorn. Of course she was. Honestly, if I'm doing that, probably... There we go. Shine ought to be bigger. Actually, I think that the... Try to bring that back there, okay. we go. Just make the eyes white. Usually not a good idea, but who's gonna stop us? Let them try to slow me down with good practices. We've already violated plenty of good practices. We'll violate a few more. Whoops. He's got like a... Supposed to be his cutie mark on there, I think. Bonnie corn. The father that was buried down in the catacombs was Hasbro itself, but it was kind of like the personification of a company. It was like not really a person, not any particular person. So father was like the company, like this is the... And so when we were actually going to have them show up and be a character for the Equestria Girls thing, Equestria Primates that we had planned. And at one point they were going to unleash Osbra, which was, you know, an anagram for Hasbro. Why? Oh, because I've got this like wide open thing here. Okay, it's my fault. Clip Studio. I'm sorry, I blamed you. But yeah, there he was going to be. It was an anagram for Hasbro, and the trick was that when it appeared, it was going to be like actually all powerful. Like it could just not like Discord where it's like, oh, I snap my fingers and things happen, but there's limits. It was just going to be like, if Osbra decides that something should be different, then things are different, and there was nothing that anyone could do about it. And that was one of the reasons why they were concerned about Osbra waking up at all, because once that happened, it was like the whole world was just going to change. And like one of the things that Osbra had opinions on was like who should be a princess and who shouldn't be a princess. Like he was like, you know, this should be this way and that should be that way. He was going to turn Celestia pink. He was going to be like, I don't approve of this. Why aren't you pink? A beautiful princess girl should be pink. My girl should be pink. And then she's just going to be pink. There'd be nothing that she could do about it. So that was kind of it. I can't remember what the ending was going to be. It might have been that things just change. I think that may have been the way it was, is it was just going to be like, yeah, like it all kind of comes to an end and things just change, and that's how it is sometimes. And I think the end of it, the big finale, was going to be them kind of coping with like the end of everything. It was going to be our farewell to My Little Pony. It's been so long, so I don't really remember if that's where we were going with it. But I feel like that was kind of what we were going to do. Will there be more Where Are We? We are going to at least have one more. It was that Fosticorn summoned Osbra. And then Osbra, like after Osbra met Fosticorn, was just like, you should have babies. There was a bit of mythological stuff in there. I wasn't gonna go like too deep into what all it meant, because then it gets a little hazy when you're like, oh, it's all a metaphor for the show, and then you're kind of like, I don't know, like the exact process on who does what is a little bit weird. What really mattered more was that it was gonna be like, oh, we're saying goodbye to the show, and so Osbra was gonna show up, make a bunch of changes, nothing would be recognizable anymore, and it would be like, well, this is how it is now. We could not stop it. But we do have to live it. Shining armor. Shining armor tail. Yay. Yeah, we had a list of ideas for. Hello, Maxi Retro. We had a bunch of ideas for the Where Are We shorts, but they've come out kind of slowly. Betterup was going on it pretty well, but then his dog got doggy cancer. And he was pretty bummed about that, so production kind of stopped as he was going through that. And then now he's laid off, and there's time to do it, but I mean, like, really, he needs to be looking for work. So, I don't know, what can he say? There's going to be more. There's going to be at least the one as to, like, how much more will there be. There's other ideas, and there's other stuff we want to do, but it's so hard to say for sure. Long time no see. Are you? Is this? I know of a Maxi. I haven't spoken to a Maxi in a long time. Is this a Maxi that I've spoken to in the past? Because I know a Maxi. This is Maxi. Okay, hello Maxi. And it is a long time no here. No, let's see. Did the dog get better? The dog has passed away. So unfortunately no. Which, like I said, this is part of why I was so bummed about it. I don't know if you guys remember his. He had a corgi that he used for his like artist headshots. He was just like holding a corgi, and that was his dog. Her name was Mrs. Brisby. Yeah, it's sad. I've got a little dachshund that we live with, and in theory, she's still got time in her, but we'll find out. She's getting up there in years. For a little while, our dog, I thought that she was getting so old that maybe she was kind of not hanging on very well anymore, because she stopped playing and she wasn't. Yeah, a Nim reference is what it was. But our dog, she stopped playing and all kinds of things, and I was like, oh man, I don't know, is she maybe getting so old? She's maybe getting arthritis or something. She can't bring herself to go play like she used to, because she was a very active dog. She's also a murderer. She's killed so many animals. Like, oh my god. She'll find a nest of bunny rabbits. Like, dachshunds are hunters, diggers, and they're scrappy. They were bred to fight with badgers. So they are scrappy little dogs. They're just like fighting, killing little things. And ours is not an exception. So like when she was just like started to lose interest in play and hunting and everything else like that, I was starting to worry about her health. But we took her into the vet, and it turned out that what it was that she had an abscess in her tooth, and so she didn't like to, everything she does has to do with her mouth. Like she goes to play, she's got to hold the ball in her mouth, but she's got an abscess, so it hurts to play. And then of course, like dogs kind of like to hide pain. They don't really like to project that they have injuries. So she just kind of like quit playing rather than acting hurt. She's just like, no, I'm good. I don't want to play. I'm fine. But yeah, the vets were like, yeah, she's got an abscess, and so they're like, let us have her, and we'll remove the abscess. The joke I make is that they took some teeth for some money. They didn't tell us how many teeth had to be removed for how much money. They were just like, we'll remove some teeth and we'll take some money. And we got her back, and they had removed like a bunch of teeth, like tons of, I can't remember, it was like 14 teeth or something, or 7. I know that's like a multiple of 2, but anyway, that was a lot of teeth. It was just, I was surprised by how many teeth they took, and then it was a lot of money that they took as well. And I was just like, oh my god. Like we agreed to some teeth for some money, and they just like went wild with it. They weren't messing around. So yeah. They took her teeth and they took some money, and now she's all better. Now she goes and plays and everything. So that was I mean, like, it was expensive, but as far as the dog's health, that wound up being like well worth it. Well, I think it was like $700 or something like that. So if it was 7 teeth, then it was $100 a tooth. If it was 14 teeth, then it was like $50 a tooth. So, all right, see you later. Later, Annika. Oh man, but yeah. Glad she got better, but man, I wish that they had given a slightly clearer warning. Maybe no. Okay. Where do I do this? There we go. That way I won't paint into the grass. Actually know what I'm looking at with this. Oops. Oh, okay, that's the big disadvantage there. Well, just try to be careful with it. And there's like, the sun's coming from that direction, so I've got mountains and I don't know exactly. Let's do that. And there we go. Flat colors. Lacking in excitement, but great for being done with fast. Rainbow Dash presents by audio only. I did do basically an episode of Semi-Intelligent or Banana Republic, but audio only. I had some scripts for that I wanted to do that I never really got done. Ta-da. Well, okay, I'm going to use the restroom real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Yes, I see Maxie. Maxie's in Wisconsin. The home of the cheese. Alright. Shining armor. What do we got left? We got plenty of stuff. We got plenty of stuff. Let's see, how about... We've done Trixie. Starlight, Glimmer. She just counts as Twilight. Alright, see you later, SF Brew. From Texas to Iowa to Illinois to Wisconsin. Well, I assume all in pursuit of the best cheese. I've been to Texas, and I tried out their barbecue, and I want to say they go too heavy on the shoot, what is it? On the vinegar. They go too heavy on the vinegar in Texas. Yes, you agree. Yeah, they absolutely do. Why? Like, that's one thing I don't understand. Like, why? Allison says North Carolina barbecue is even more vinegar. That's madness. I don't get it. See, down in KC, down in Kansas City, it's really more, well, I guess it depends a little bit, but most of the time, it's more about the molasses. Yeah, so the card game is, it's a war game where I'm going to be running a war game tournament at Babs. I don't know if I have the full details yet. But we're going to be doing a war game at Babs. I asked them if I could have a block of time to do kind of a tournament sort of thing. So I've got 2 friends who know how to play the game. They'll be there, and so they can help me teach people how to play. Currently, I plan to have like 3 tables running at a time, so 6 players at a time. I don't know if we'll have more interest than that. We're going to print out the cards. The art, for better or worse, will be on the cards. And then at the end of it, we'll do an auction. It's like if anyone wants to buy all this stuff that we did, then we'll charge you the price of Kinko's plus whatever else you want to pay, and it's all yours. You take it all home, play it with your friends. But it's based on the rule set for Song of Ice and Fire, the tabletop game, which is a really well put together war game. Like, I think that those of you guys who like war games, if you're going to Babs, which I know probably not a lot of you are, well, I don't know. Maybe some of you are. Guys, you should go to Babs. It's the last Babs, and Babs is fun. Babs has room parties. They do, you can go from room to room. I think it was all the second floor last year. But you go around, you get different drinks. They got different things going on. They put on, like, pony shows. You can hang out with people. Hang out with other awkward pony nerds. It's good stuff. Man, it used to be a place back in the day, back when the fandom was like really thriving. Like, man, the horse news guys would run a. They had a hotel room, and. They would do a party room, and they would bring in strippers, and I never stayed for the stripper. I mean, I met the stripper because I was like in the back room with some of the guys that were running the thing, and so but then as soon as she showed up, I was like, well, it's time to get out of here, because you know. As soon as the stripper shows up, you know it's about to get rowdy. And sure enough, I was told that the hotel had to shut the room down. They were just like, yeah, stop. Let me see. This is Starlight Glimmer. And then we want her neck. We're going about half. Alright, now her hair's freaking weird. I'm not really sure. Kind of like flicks away from her. I don't like how they did her hair. I was like praising Rarity. They kind of do a similar thing with her, but I don't really. I don't know if I feel the same level of praise there. It's very similar to what they did with her. There she is, and we can probably make this larger. In fact, we should make this larger. I'm thinking like she should have a knife or something that she's like cleaning. She is a psychopath. Bring that up a little bit closer to the face so we don't accidentally get it cut off. And then we've got like a rag. Yes, she's got the. Oh yeah, so Maxie is over in the Twitch chat. So a Midwest Gaming Classic this year. Where's that gonna be? Is that Missouri? Southwest Missouri? See, I'm still kind of in like the Kansas City, Missouri area. Still in KC. Okay, we want Trixie to also be in pony armor because they're out there fighting a war. How did I draw Twilight? Aside from as a Brontosaurus. Just trying to look at like how did I draw her? Brontosaurus Twilight. All right, hopefully that's yeah, I can tell what I'm doing with that. There we go. Concentration on pony. Tabletop conventions can be fun. The thing that I think is really nice about them is just trying out board games and stuff that you haven't done. I find that the role playing I don't quite like as much at conventions like that, just because you're kind of in a rush and it becomes very objective oriented. It's like we got to get here, so there's not quite as much time to joke around and make light of the entire thing, which I feel like is a huge draw for role-playing in general. Like, that's kind of why I like to do it. So, I don't know, a more casual role-playing environment is what I really like. And damn this pony's hair. A little rounder. Got less of a sense of what's going on with this hair than I normally do. And that is pretty impressive. Shoot, what is she doing? She's like trying to make sense of this here. It's like she's got like this flippy thing. I think it comes up. I think it goes this way is where the issue is. Yeah. Okay. And I'll just like not do a complete line on that. I think is gonna be the way to go. When I think about Starlight Glimmer in terms of coming from the Game of Thrones, I imagine Jack, the trained killer that traveled from town to town to just straight up murder people. Yes, accurate Starlight, a menace to society, should not have been forgiven at any point, and yet was. She's got her own custom dagger, let's say. There. Does that look good? Yeah, okay, that'll be fine. It'd be nice to maybe emphasize the shadow on her a little bit more. Get a slightly more menacing look. People like Starlight thrive in the kind of environment that we're... Ah, shoot. I forgot about her tail. There we go. Okay, and just like before, probably gonna cut off most of this and have it be cropped. interrupting chat here. Get super focused on my work. Yeah, friendship is a ladder. I do. It is funny how Trixie really does get more punishment and less trust from Twilight. Like, Starlight Glimmer nearly eradicates all life on the known planet, and it's like, that's okay. You were just trying to be good at magic, and you're upset because your friend moved to a different town. I'd kill everyone too if I were you. I get it. But then you know, like, Trixie's just like, I was an asshole in public, and they're like, that's unforgivable. Like, I hope we never find a place for you in society, Trixie. Okay. Oh, that's a little too... I'm gonna say too pink. Too pink. Let's go this way. Do we just do a color dropper and get it exactly? Yes. Am I gonna do that? No. That's exciting. Toothpaste! The toothpaste, look! Toothpaste in your hair! It gives you... makes you stand out. Yeah. Starlight was like, they ran out of ideas of what to do because they gave all the ponies, like, they're just like, Rarity opens a boutique. Okay, that was her big life ambition. Rarity opens another boutique. Rainbow Dash becomes Wonderbolt. That was her big life ambition. New characters! New characters! Okay, and then Trixie kind of, Starlight Glimmer didn't really catch on because she just wasn't, like, she was psychotic, and people were like, oh, gee, I don't know about this. And then they were like, okay, friendship school. Children in the friendship school. Totally blameless. Haven't killed anyone yet. And then people were like, they're kind of lame. I don't know, I don't like them. And they're like, ah! I don't know. Ideas. People don't like anything we're doing. Oops. Oh well. It's like I have made a mistake. Okay, well anyway. Oh no, weird, they did, okay. I thought that they maybe used the brighter color to kind of separate the hair. But they don't. It's just like a big black line that they use to separate the hair. So. It's a pretty color violet they used for her eyes, though. So we can quick capture that. There are shows that have done this. I mean, like, famously, there are shows that have done it that didn't really turn out that, and it didn't turn out that great for them. I mean, the Happy Days had Cousin Oliver, who showed up to try to breathe a little bit of new life into the show, and it just did not hold. People didn't like Cousin Oliver. I mean, that's the problem. If people don't really like the new characters, then bringing them on doesn't do anything good for you. What did I do with Twilight? I used that. Okay. Put these little frills on me. How does that work? What did I do with that? Oh, it's like okay. I'm just gonna do that. That gives us our like a pleated skirt. That's kind of what I was going for, I see. And I did like a little half moon thing. Add a little stuff. I mean, the thing that made Fim fun was that originally, I mean, like, people weren't taking it too seriously. The fandom wasn't taking it too seriously, but they had the ponies, and then things were implied to be more grounded than they were. So you had like these characters that were mad about things that felt relatable to you even as an adult, and then it was, it's like really funny, like, because Twilight's trying to accomplish this stuff, but she's saddled with these complete idiots who are ruining everything she's trying to accomplish at all times. And you can like, it's just funny. It was a good like, it was a fun show premise. And I don't think that people got too carried away. I think that, well, I mean, some people did get too carried away. I should correct. Some people definitely got way too carried away and should not have been quite at the level that they were at. But as far as, like, was it fun? It was a good show. It was well put together. It used a lot of techniques that were very professional. Like, the people who made the show were clearly, like, they were good animators. We had some good writers for it and everything. It was a good show. We occasionally went back on the channel. We haven't done this in a while, but we used to have like a SciTube channel, and we'd go back and watch episodes that we would watch My Little Pony on occasion, and just be like, was it really very good? Like, was it actually good? We all just wrapped up in the, it was like a lot of fans, and we got involved in the fandom, and wasn't quite as good as we thought it was, but it was actually pretty good. Blood on the knife, and then let's make it like imply that some pony got stabbed. Like this sort of little splotch. On her face. And how about on her armor too while we're at it? Just get it everywhere. On the neck. Good old Glimmer. A fine soldier. And I guess for over all of this, we want the little magic overlay because she's got to do that to hold her her stuff. Unbothered in her lane. Oops. Thriving. Didn't save that at all until just now. It's been downhill ever since the first episode. Let's see. Let's actually go with a bit of a sunset look. How about... do you want to do that? Like purple in the background, and then... say a reddish coming down. Let's say, okay, for the earth, for the ground that she's standing on, we're going to do like, just kind of a background. And then, I don't know, just a little color to something, add something to it. And I feel like you can't really be blamed for mixing up Starlight and with the bacon hair. That's why people called them Glim and Bacon. I mean, like it was easier than trying to remember which characters were which. let's add some clouds. Film style a little bit. Only a little bit though. Ta-da, Starlight Glimmer. There we go. Almost ashamed to give her a card like that and then not have it actually really do anything. She just counts as Twilight. Okay, that is 3 characters at least. Now the question is, can do some conscripts. I don't know. That is 3 characters for now. Maybe I'll do more later. But okay, I think I'll go ahead and call the stream for now. I will probably stream again tomorrow, probably earlier in the day, unless I once again have issues with sleep. But yeah, I don't know. 3 characters for this was the goal. I got some other stuff that I want to do that won't be as fun to watch as far as the stream goes. Because for one, I'm gonna try and do some writing, and yeah. Do brownies still exist? They do still exist. But anyway, though, we're gonna wrap it up and call it a day. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Catch you next time.